Hello YouTube world and welcome to another episode of Focus Knob. Today I have this Canon FL 58mm 1.2 lens, and the problem with this is that the aperture is stuck open. And I believe that, hopefully, the problem is that it's just dried oil that's keeping the aperture from closing up. So I'm gonna attempt to open this up and hopefully get the aperture working again. So right now I have the aperture ring set to 16 at wide open. And I want to set the baseline so I could put it back together properly. And the zoom is pretty much set to infinity. Okay. And this lens is a radioactive lens, so I'm a little cautious about opening this up, but I have no choice. It's not working, and my intention is to get this thing working again and then resell it. And currently I'm having trouble reselling it because it's not in working order, so I have to do what must be done. Alright. So first I'm going to remove this face plate for the front lens. There's two detents here, over here, and over here, where I can use this tool to spin it off. So I've already pre-loosened this, so it should come off relatively easy. Now you gotta be careful that you don't apply too much pressure trying to get the spin going, and then the tool slips and scratches the lens. So just be mindful of that. So this one's already pre-loosened, so it should go without any problem. Still trying to be careful that I don't slip the tool and scratch this lens, because I intend to sell this lens for over $100, hopefully, if I could get it fixed. So yeah, so I got this lens at Goodwill for, well, it was a camera and a lens system for $15, and the camera was in really bad shape, but the lens is not too bad. Next is there's a retention ring. Okay, so this next step took a bit longer than I would have liked, so I had to edit the videos. So I pre-loosened this ring. So there's these two round holes here. You don't want to loosen those, the inner ring. It's this outer ring that's up against this barrel, the outside barrel. Yes, see this indentation here? That's where you want to grab. The other one is over here, right there, right there. Those are the two parts you want to grab with this tool. So you just grab that. You can see I've already scratched that retaining ring a tiny bit. So it was pretty tight, so now it's loosened up and I can loosen it up like magic, like it wasn't even there. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure all my settings are still in place. A lot of fine threads to get through. Oops, slipped. Thank God it wasn't glued down. Which I think that the inner retaining ring is glued down, because I see a brown, look like dried up glue here, right there. So I think this inner ring is glued down. Okay, let's keep spinning this. That's out. That's that. So I like to put things in order, so when I put it back, I know where everything goes. Next is 3 tiny screws on the side, just to come off. I need to flip my bits here. I think this is small enough. Yep. That's one. Two. Three small screws. And we can just lift this up. Ooh. That's not good. There's some. The hell are those? Man, 2 ball bearings just came out. So this one. Ooh, third one. So this part has some tiny ball bearings in it, so I'll have to take a look at that later. And it has these parts, I don't know what these are, so we'll just keep track. We'll keep track of these parts when we assemble it. Okay, there's at least 3 ball bearings that fell out. Ooh, you do not want to lose these. Okay, I'll take a look at this part, see what's inside that. Okay, we're still in place. Okay, another lock ring, retaining ring we need to spin off. Right there. Let's see if this one's gonna cooperate. Okay. Okay, so this one wasn't too bad, wasn't too tight. Just oh, my tool came loose. Gotta re-tighten my tool. Okay. Just hold. Okay. Ooh, more ball bearings. Whatever these things are. There it is. Oh. So far, 4 tiny ball bearings came popping out. We shall figure out where everything is. So that's that. So this entire piece comes off. Let's see if there's any more ball bearing that came popping out. Okay. It's a brass ring. Next we need to unscrew this rear lens element. Okay, Okay, it's just hand tightened. You can see the slight yellow tint on the lens. This is the part that's radioactive, from what I've read. I'm not sure if the front element lens is radioactive as well, but the front is pretty clear. So you could tell this lens has a slight yellowish, more yellowish tint to it. So that's that. Put that over here. Next up is we remove this brass ring, which is held down by these tiny screws, flatheads screws, and you'll need this very tiny flathead screw. I think it's a 4 or quad 0 size. Quad 0. That's the only size that will fit in there. And before we remove that, I made a mark, or a scratch mark, on the brass here, and this black barrel up on top here, just for alignment. When I put everything back, I want those scratches to align. So I scratched over here on the brass and on this black barrel up here. It's not showing up on camera, but trust me, there's a scratch there. Okay, now we loosen up these screws, which are also, they have a thread locker, so it might be hard to get at them initially. Especially given how fine the threads are. So I want to strip the screws. Hope I'm not stripping the thread. There's particles coming out, but that could be from the glue, from the thread locker. Let's loosen up some more of this. Over here. Yep, it's loosened up. So So I'm being very careful as I remove this brass that I don't lose this. There's a tiny ball bearing in there, Gotta be careful. Do this thing slowly. Loosen up some more of that. Ooh. Just saw that ball bearing move. Where is that? Where did it go? Right there. Okay. Let me see if I could take this away. Okay, see. You can just see that tiny ball bearing right there. I believe that's what the detent, when you change the aperture, you hear that click, click, click. That's the ball bearing that makes that sound. Okay. So the ball bearing sits in here, in this hole, and there's a tiny spring in there, so you don't want to lose that spring as well. So just be mindful when you take this out that the spring is there, or doesn't come flying off someplace, or it doesn't get left behind. So there's a spring there. So this brass ring is pretty dirty. I'm gonna have to clean that up. So the tiny screws, or the lock screws, are still in place. I just loosened them up. I didn't take them out completely. Okay, let's put that over here. There's that ball bearing. So that ball bearing is also sitting on a groove on this black barrel. So we'll leave that right there for now. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna take out the tiny ball bearing, set it aside, make sure I don't lose it. Now let's remove this black ring. Again, I'm trying to be careful that there's no more ball bearings in there. Okay. So before we could remove this black ring, you gotta remove this 2 screws over here, which attaches to this part, this metal part. Get my right size. Okay, there it goes. Put those aside. just came out. Right. Pretty dirty. This brass is really dirty. There's some really dried out grease there. Okay. So just like before, we're gonna make a mark on this brass ring up against this black barrel, just for alignment purposes. Okay, so pretty much I've lined it up. The way I did is I lined it up with this white dot with the 16, made a mark on this brass barrel or brass ring, and then there's a mark on this black barrel. So it's pretty much lined it up with the same mark I did with this brass ring over here. So all those should be lined up when I put it back together. So now this spring is held back by 3 tiny screws. Again, we're gonna have to use this quad 0 size flathead screwdriver. So we don't have to take it out completely, just loosening it up until the brass ring is able to come out. Okay, a little bit more. Getting there. So there's another ball bearing right there. So that's my mistake. This ball bearing and this brass ring is for the aperture. So every time you adjust the aperture, you hear that click, click, click. So that's the ball bearing and the brass ring that's responsible for that sound. So let's continue to loosen up these screws, these said screws. Okay. Again, this ball bearing, be careful. Make sure you know where it is because it is spring loaded. So just slowly take this ring out. So you can see there's these grooves on this ring, brass ring. So that ball bearing rides on these grooves, which makes that clicking noise. Click, click, click. So this brass is pretty dirty. So before I lose it, I'm gonna take out this ball bearing and the spring. I don't want to lose it. Put that there. I'm gonna leave the spring, so the spring is set in a hole on this aluminum ring right here. So I'm gonna take that out as well. Let's see if we could take it out. Not yet. It's not gonna come out. Okay. So just needed a little coaxing, and then this aluminum ring should pop out. Put that there. And look at all this dried up grease on this barrel. Next, we take out this screw over here. See that? This sliding screw. So there's this screw moves that part, that inner barrel, like so. So let's take that out. Then we remove this brass snap ring right here. Trying to be careful not to damage it. There it goes. And this inner barrel comes sliding out. Like that. So this screwed in into this hole right here. And then we remove another snap ring, this brass snap ring. The silver ring. Okay, then in order to remove the last part, we need to remove this lock screws. There's 3 of them, and they're held down by a thread locker. So there's 1, 2, 3. So we gotta break this this glue, so I could actually access the screw. So the glue is like, it's like amber in color. Just clearing out the slot. So my screwdriver can actually grab the screw. Alright. One. Two. Ooh, three. And the barrel just came out. Okay. Let's keep that in order. Three screws over there. And this part came out. This is where the aperture is. So then, yeah, we can leave this part in there for now. I don't think that needs to come out. There we go. Now all we gotta do is clean this part up. So just to show you how stuck this aperture is, so this arm should be able to move very freely, but I'm trying to pull on it and it's very stiff. Look at that. Very hard. So something's restricting this armature over here. See, the aperture wants to close, but it's just so damn tight. So we're gonna open this up. 4 screws underneath. Once again, they're glued down, so we're gonna have to break those glue. Let's see. Then we unhook this spring. Carefully unhook it, like so. Okay. That's your aperture blade. Thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up to let others know this is good stuff. And if you didn't like it, comment down below and let me have it. Also subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified of any future videos that I release. You'll be the first to know. Okay, until next time, see ya.